Welcome to Two Luckies,
the podcast,
and our series, Dyin,
Cryin
and
Lyin.
This is a series of us talking about Little House on the Prairie and our take on it as adults.
It is very different as an adult.
Very different. And if you sum this all up, they can fall into one of three categories, either dying,
They're crying,
or they're lying.
lying.
So sit back, relax, come take an adventure with us as we reminisce on Little House the Prairie, Dyin,
Cryin
and
Lyin.
Lyin. Season 1, Ma's Holiday. So the scene opens up with them sitting around the table and talking about
it opens
how...
up with a fawn, a baby
yeah.
deer, then Jack, who looked kind of like Tiger from another show, and then we went to the prairie, well, the Little House on the Prairie that's not actually on the prairie. We were just talking about that.
This is Little House at Plum Creek. But
Yes.
anyway, they're sitting around the table talking about how Willie got in trouble again in school for talking and had to stay after, and one more, and she was going to talk to his mother. Yeah, whoopee. But then they're all sitting around and smiling and giggling, and
right
Ma's just
away.
like clueless. So what's going on? Oh, nothing.
Even Carrie in the high chair was in on it with the smirking.
No lines, but she's in on it.
She's smirking.
So Chaz says he's going to Mankato and deliver a load of lumber, and now he's going to take Ma with him so she can have a holiday.
She can have a holiday with no preparation. Says, I already made arrangements for Grace to take care of the kids. We get there slowly, but we're speeding it up for you. And she is flabbergasted. She's trying to think of ideas to not go because she's worried about them getting injured, and she's worried about there being a problem, and what if somebody gets sick, and pretty much what are they going to do without me? But he sprung this on her, and she's very she's surprised, but she doesn't seem as happy as she could be.
She looks like she's trying to get out of it, but let's see.
She looks nervous. So Charles made this big announcement. The kids were in on it. And he goes over to get Grace, or to go check with Grace to make sure that everything is on, everything's going the way it's supposed to be going. And she comes out sick. And she's got a sore throat. She was unable to send word because back then there was no telephone. There was no electricity. There were no wires on poles anywhere.
Of course.
And she had no real way of being sick this much. She seemed pretty sick to go tell anybody.
But I have a question. Where's Mr. Edwards?
I don't think they were together yet at this point.
It seemed like they were together. Didn't we already do that one? He showed up at the church with her? Would he just take off?
They showed up at the church, but they weren't married, so I don't think he didn't live with her until much later.
Let's see.
So just because they were in a relationship, I guess they're not to that point yet. So now he's wondering what he's going to do. He's disappointed. He's getting back onto the wagon that has his dream team of horses that he came jingling in from in the 100-mile walk. And this is a working trip he's taking her on.
That's
he's
right.
delivering freight.
It's not a real holiday. He's working.
He's delivering freight. Ma just gave frantic instructions to the girls, including Carrie, who had just a nod this time. And the girls are telling her all the chores she's forgetting to tell them. They seem to know what they're doing. She's very much about her appearance, whether or not she's appears to be ready, and that the house has to be kept as clean as possible so that the widow Snyder doesn't think anything bad, and that now Pa is coming back home with his dream team.
I wonder if anybody noticed that he's by himself and doesn't have the widow Snyder with him.
It seems very visible that there's only one person on this wagon, but so far they hear the jingling, they see him kind of a shape coming towards him and said, Pa's home.
I think we just came upon our first case of lying. And that's because when they greeted Pa and asked, where's the widow Snyder? He said, I'm afraid she couldn't come. She's sick, sore throat. He said, well, can't we get somebody else? And he's like, I tried. You tried with
When? When did you try? And who else is there really that would be available to do this? At this point in the show, I don't think they really had anybody
I'm going to call this one
Lyin. We are 20 seconds back, and the relief on Ma's face, her shoulders went down, and she says, "Oh, probably for the best." And they put their arms around each other, and they're going in the house. But she was very relieved to be relieved of the duty of having to go on this working trip.
And I just want to point out again, Chaz is still wearing the same
Well,
shirt.
this is supposed to be that they don't have the money for this shirt.
She's got money for new dress, though, right?
No, she's wearing that same brown dress. She's worn that brown dress.
She's
since the
changed
beginning.
clothes. The kids have changed
You know,
clothes.
yes.
Everybody in town has changed clothes except
for
old
Pop.
Chaz.
You know, that is interesting. Yeah, good point.
Well, isn't it funny? After they go back inside the house and, oh, maybe it's just for the best, who happens to come walking down the road up to the Ingalls place but good old Mr. Edwards?
Mr. Edwards!
And after the kids go out there and they're both talking to him at the same time,
As he's
and
holding
slows down,
Carrie, he picked her up.
right? But they ask him if he could stay, and he said, I might be able to be persuaded. And then they walk inside the house, and the two of them are standing there just dejected. Ma and Pa, yeah, well,
Hold on a
maybe it
second.
is for the best.
Ma is running through all the reasons why this was the best result they could have gotten. And then here he comes, Mr. Edwards, with the kids, and they're all excited. We got this done. Charles perks right up, gives a hand out, give her a shake to Mr. Edwards. That's the best news I've heard all day. And now Ma is back on the hook for this trip that she really, her hopes are dashed, and
Yep.
she's going.
She tries one last stab, though. Wait, don't you have to work at the mill? And
To which he was laid
I'm
off,
laid
for,
off
the
for the
week.
week.
And Charles says the Lord was on our side.
Don't worry, Chaz. You couldn't take care of the arrangements. Your kids took care of it. So, good job.
No, the universe did. God, everybody got it going on. Charles has just grabbed their bags because Ma has tried to find every excuse to poke a hole in this plan that he's come up with, and he is thrilled that Edwards looks like he's got it going on. He'll feel better with a man around the house to watch everything, and that the girls can do whatever boys can do, and he is whipping them out of this cabin, whatever you want to call this structure, as fast as he can, because he needs to get Ma out of here quick. Otherwise, his plan is going to go up in smoke, and he seems to know it.
And I just want to point out that even Edward said, I just got to stop home and get another shirt. Another shirt.
Right, another shirt.
See?
Not only that, though, Laura, because, of course, one of her things that Ma was trying to poke the hole with was saying, well, then the children would be left alone. And Laura was like, we'll go with him. Of course, why would he leave? Why couldn't they go out of the house?
Nice try, Ma.
I mean, it's not even, they had no indoor plumbing at this point. There was no like pipes to burst. There was no electric to spark in the walls.
Very interesting, as Pa's practically pushing her into this wagon, and she's doing everything she can to get out of this. They get all loaded up, and they're ready to go, and Chaz looks at the girls and says, if you're good, I'll bring you back a present from Mankato. How are you going to know if they're good when you're in Mankato?
We were just saying that. Like, what do you got, long-range vision? Besides, you said you got present money.
Right. Where do you get the money
They
for
got
that,
money
too?
for presents. Now they're pulling away, and Carolyn is being chastised by Charles for looking back at her children, that she had very little time to prepare for this whole thing. And she's frantic that they're going to be okay. And she's still in that period of like raising children. And he's like, Mankato's this way. And he tells her to be, that's enough. And really, like,
Yeah, I don't know.
We have our next lion, because here's Mr. Edward. He's in there. The kids are happy. They're eating food that looks like it's well prepared. And Carrie, who had 2 lines already so far.
Go Carrie.
And we were kind of intelligible. Go Carrie. So the kids are hearing him spin this yarn of a story where the entire thing is a lie. And he is just rolling this thing up, and he's using their reactions to decide which way this story is going to go, about how he was stuck under a tree and he saw a vision of people, the indigenous people, picking it up off of him, and he called them savages, and like, it's a whole thing. Okay, so they are really into this story, but they're having a good time. They look clean and healthy. So I mean, he may be lion. But at least they're clean and happy. And
They're a happy lion.
They're a happy lion. Now, Mr. Edwards has been telling Carrie to stop that growing since the minute he's met her. He holds her over his head and says, stop that growing, stop that growing. Now, she's feeding the dog under the table. Mary says, what if Ma saw you doing that? So he says, oh, well, you know, we're not going to tell her. Nobody's going to tell her. So Carrie's already in on that because she's looking at him like, no, we're not going to tell Ma that I was feeding the dog under the table. And
Carrie doesn't get enough lines to say anything anyway.
Right.
So she's good.
He's going to get this food into her so she can grow. And what is she doing? She's got her lips pressed closed and she's shaking her head back and forth because why? Maybe because you told her like 500,000 times to stop growing.
Make up your mind there, Edwards. Good girl.
Good girl. Carrie had 3 lines already. We are going up in the world here. Mr. Edwards is now wearing her lunch or dinner or whatever it is on his nose because he tried to get Laura to feed Carrie since Carrie was refusing the food. And then she gave her the spoon in such a way that there's no way she would have been able to feed herself from that angle. She switches hands and puts it right on his nose. Sploosh.
So Mary gets up and says, we'll do the dishes. And Edwards, oh, I'll help you. Takes his plate, holds it under the table, and lets the dog lick it clean. Then gets up and says, oh, nothing cleaner than a
dog's tooth or dog's tongue or something like that. Gives it a quick rinse in a communal bowl and sets it on the counter like it's ready to be used. So maybe Ma had something here when she was concerned. But
now
here's
what's next?
Another show that's a little slow, but we know they got to give it something.
We have our next
planned future lion. The girls are over there. Mr. Edwards found a chore that he said was man's work. He went outside to muck the stalls out, and the girls raced over to actually properly wash that dish in the same communal bowl that he just put the dog spit in. And they are planning on how they are going to not say anything about Jack eating off the plates and that he just let the dog lick it and how he does things.
So that is planned future lion. We were just talking earlier about how Edwards was a lion and now a milk measurement just comes right out.
She realized it.
There's a real sitting bull. Well, that makes Mr. Edwards a liar.
Because when he was spinning that yarn as a story, he said that the people who saved him from that tree gave him a name, and the name he gave was Sitting Bull because he said, you ever heard of Sitting Bull? And Laura said, no. Well, Mary stayed quiet, but she knew that that meant that that wasn't him because Sitting Bull was famous.
Right, so we're going to call on Mary implied. Lion.
It seems like he's doing a good job. The kids are reminding him, Mr. Edwards, of all the things that, you know, Ma and Pa listened to our prayers and they kissed us goodnight. He kissed him on the forehead. They put Carrie to sleep for him and he said, okay, come on. And they all went to bed around the same time. And they got something with Mr. Edwards that their parents don't give them because he blew out the light.
Right.
And Ma and Pa usually stay up with the lantern on way after the kids are in bed in this place with no walls, just the fireplace in the middle. And Mr. Edwards blew out the lamp and he was going to bed at the same time as the children.
If he wanted to make this a real Pa experience, he should have broke out the fiddle.
Yeah, they're probably missing all the noise. Ma and Pa are laying outside under the bright open sky by a fire. Her hair is very much sprayed back with some kind of lacquer to be in this configuration. She launches up out of this bed that they've made on the ground, okay? And she says, the eggs! And he scolds her because you can't keep worrying like this. This is your vacation or your holiday.
All right.
He keeps telling her it's a holiday. He was going to Mankato anyway for a job.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when they came across that prairie, wasn't this how they were sleeping every night?
Yes.
Just laying out the road,
or under the wagon,
under the wagon when it
or
was
in
raining.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
heck of a holiday you got there, Pa.
I know, but I mean, he was doing this anyway. He said that in the beginning. He was doing this anyway. So I'm going to call this Lyin, because is it her holiday, or did you just want company on the trip because you couldn't find anybody else to go with you?
We're going to call a new one here. This one's called
Bribing.
because Pa tries to reason with her and say, if you don't talk about the girls or mention them for the rest of this trip, I'll buy you a new bonnet and Mankato.
And Ma says, are you bribing me? And he said, call it a present, which is a Lyin, because we know you're bribing. She even said it.
You're caught.
She just said it. Ma just got kissed on the head and that's my girl, because she just said, you know what? This isn't my holiday. This is our holiday. Because he was just saying, you know, before those 3 little ones came along,
We used to have a lot to talk about.
we used to have a lot to talk about. So how could I be ruining our holiday that you just sprung on me with no chance to get ready for, because you knew about it for weeks and I just found out it seemed like the night before.
Oh, child.
Oh, but I'm supposed to be so grateful. Oh, and then he kisses her on the head, and sometimes I look at him and I'm like, ugh.
The only thing he's missing here is the pipe and the fiddle.
The pipe and the fiddle. But we got the smirk. He can always take that to bed. You can bank on that smirk. 2 seconds later, she loses the bonnet because she's talking about the eggs. And she's like, if the eggs spoil, they spoil with a fist next to her face. And he rolls his eyes and looks at her. And really, the two of them, maybe now he's realizing that springing something on somebody was a bad idea.
But he still has the smirk.
The smirk is smirking. We cut back to the little house, and we can hear Carrie crying from outside. They pan inside, and his eyes, Mr. Edwards' eyes, pop open because Carrie went to bed without eating because she put it on his nose. And he just figured, well, I'll listen to Laura because Laura said she'll eat when she's hungry. So she picked the middle of the night, wakes him up, and he says, oh, what's the matter? And she's already sitting in the high chair. Why?
Right.
Because the high chair, that's where she sits. And he says, what's the matter? You're hungry. So he takes whatever dinner they had in the cast iron thing and puts it over the fire. So it had been sitting there in the pot, first of all.
The whole time while he's talking about, I can't have this. We got to have regular hours, night times for sleeping. And while he's doing all that, he turns around to look at her and she is gone.
The high chair is empty. Jack is laying there on the floor. And he's looking all over the place, and now he's walking out the door.
Oh, and she did have a one-word line. It sounded like she mumbled, yes.
Yes, I think she said so 4 times. Carrie is moving up.
Moving up.
Moving on up.
I have to bring up a point here. It just occurred to me.
What?
So after he opened up the front door and yelling out, Carrie turns around and sees her. She's actually laying back down in her bed asleep.
Right.
Didn't we learn just a couple of episodes ago that he had a wife and a daughter who was close to Laura's age, and he's acting like he's never sat with kids before?
You know, he's acting like he's never been, yes, it's kind of
I'm going to
interesting.
call that sketchy.
If you have children, you would have experience with them being in the house with you at some point.
It just seems a little sketchy.
Yeah, it does. You know, they are making him a little more, I don't know, maybe he was always outside in the barn tending to the horses and doing outside work and didn't know what Ma's work was.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to say. I don't know.
Let's
But
go with that.
Why wouldn't you look in her bed before you looked outside? Mr. Edwards turns around with this plate full of food, okay, that he was getting ready for Carrie. And of course, now Jack gets another meal. And all I could be thinking to myself was, I hope Doc Baker's a good veterinarian because they're going to need it after eating all this people food, because they were shocked, the girls, that this dog was eating this food. He's going to be making landmines in the lawn
He's
for
going to
about
wake
2
up
weeks.
to a big load on the floor.
There's going to be just squirt.
Go, Mr. Edwards. Not only did you not get the girls up in time to make it to school,
They're running up that massive hill
But
instead
he's-
of taking the road.
he's looking forward to a quiet day, just him and Carrie.
Carrie, who kept him up overnight and put her food on his face, and now she's pulling his freshly cleaned sheets into the dirt.
Actually, it's mud now.
Yeah,
This
it's
is full of
mud now.
water.
Mr. Edwards is finding out that Carrie is very rambunctious when the girls aren't around and other people aren't there to take up the scenes. She is all over the place running. So now he has tied a rope around her waist and tied it to the end of the clothesline to keep her out of mischief. And she's just spinning this rope around the pole. And now he's laughing because he had no idea how Ma gets anything done with this little one underfoot.
Again, he had a little kid once.
No, but he did. He had a wife and a little kid, and yeah.
I guess. Okay.
I don't know.
We see them walking down this big hill.
Well, who's walking though?
We see them. Okay, it's Mr. Edwards, it's Carrie, and Jack.
Jack. Thank goodness for Jack.
And all of a sudden, Jack starts barking like crazy. Roof, roof, roof. And what do we see?
What's
Rattlesnake.
that? Rattlesnake. Yes. So the rattlesnake's out there. I thought, what does he have over his shoulders? A log? Turns out it's some kind of
It was a big musket rifle.
big musket, and he shoots this snake, holds it up, and says,
Looks like it should be enough for
"For
four.
Mom would be having a conniption right now."
He was a really good shot, too.
Yes, but she would be freaking out. And now we're looking at this gray, mushy, soup-looking something that he's just cooked up for the girls. Rattlesnake.
Wow. The girls are up in the loft, and there's Mary. You? What's that awful smell?
Because they just got called for supper, and this rattlesnake soup stew is on the menu. Because we just realized that they heated up Ma's leftovers yesterday. She said that the food was ready. You just have to heat it up because she had gotten it ready for Grace. And now here's Mr. Edwards' food, and they're like trying not to make a face.
Trying not to make a face. He's trying to build it up, and he's got added his own ingredients to a Sioux recipe or something.
Well, now, yes, and he says it's no offense to your mother, but this is the best thing you ever put down your gullet, which we know is a lion, because Ma is like one of the best cooks in town. They say it all the time. While the girls are trying to figure out how they're going to stomach this Mr. Edwards rattlesnake stew, and Carrie's playing with the rattle from the snake, we go over to where Ma and Pa are now in a very, very fancy restaurant. She's wearing her fancy bonnet. He's got his floppy bow, and they're eating a very expensive looking dinner. She deserves to be spoiled, and now she is instructing him on how he's supposed to be lion, because she says how good the food is. He agrees with her, and she instructs him that he is supposed to say that it's not as good as her cooking.
And we also have to point out too that when we were back in the middle of the night and Carrie was in the high chair, what was she doing?
Crying. We missed it. And we were talking about it 2 seconds ago because we needed a break for a minute, and we said, wait a minute, we missed a crying. So we brought it out to you twice. But now he's being instructed how to lie. how to do it properly, because you didn't lie properly. You were supposed to compliment me, and he agreed that the food was very, very good.
Let's come back with
Lion. He says, I thought lying is a sin. Charles, you all lie like a rug on the floor. We all know it. I mean, you guys are lying around all over the place. The whole show's based on it.
Hummingbird portions at Buffalo prices.
So now they're talking about how you don't want to know, Ma, how expensive this dinner is. It'll ruin your appetite. Oh, nothing could do that, which I call a lion. Because the look on his face when he's looking at it. And then she says, oh, well, at least we know that the girls won't go hungry. How do you figure this?
If she knew what was going on there, believe me, she'd
oh my
lose
gosh,
her
they're
appetite.
probably, their stomachs are growling and Miss Beadle is feeding them at school. That's probably what's happening. The Mr. Edwards dinner continues. We thought they were finished. And poor Mary's over there trying to choke down this rubbery thing that they made her put in her mouth. And hopefully she was pretending to swallow it. She was very convincing. I will give her credit for that. Laura is staring at it. The only one eating is Mr. Edwards. And these poor kids are hungry. So, Ma, you were incorrect. Your kids are struggling here.
Yeah, and what was it Edward said to Laura? Go ahead, put hair on your chest.
Put hair on your chest.
Laura tries to take the piece of that rattlesnake off of her plate, hangs it down below to give to the dog. The dog just whimpers and runs away.
He's the only one telling the truth because Mr. Edwards keeps asking, isn't that good? Isn't that good? He knows what food tastes like. He knows what they're used to eating because Ma's a really good cook. And these girls are doing everything they can. Even Carrie is trying to chew on this rubbery thing and they're just struggling through this dinner. We have a double lion because now he's like, what Mr. Edwards saying, what's the matter with your appetite? Are you guys okay? You doing all right? And they're talking about how Laura says, we ate a really big lunch. And Mary's still choking from that piece that she swallowed. That was this huge thing she did not chew. And she's saying, oh, and Miss Beadle brought cookies at school. And that was a lion.
And I quote, this is awful good, Mr. Edwards, but we're just stuffed.
And that is lion. I mean, they were just packing the lies in here. This whole scene was a lie from beginning to end.
Laura gets the credit for that.
Yep.
We just had our very next lion. Why?
Well, he was trying to avoid saying that he couldn't read. So I don't know if it was an actual...
Oh, that was definitely a lion. As he tried to just make up his own story and they kept calling him out on it. Well, here, you read it.
Well, because
Carrie looks pretty hard to me.
Carrie was trying to go to bed and she was squiggling and laughing. So at least she was happy. But these girls must be running him ragged because he finally gets Laura, not Mary, Laura.
Always Laura.
To read the book and... You know, because Laura explains that she likes the words to be the same order that Pa reads it in because Pa's reading the book. And he gets her to read it by saying, oh, no, it looks like it gets harder. And wow, she does read really, really well. Yep. Much better than in the beginning. And
by page 2, he's snoring.
He's asleep, so these girls are running him ragged. Hold up, we just got an upgrade from this is your holiday to this is our holiday to this is our second honeymoon.
Boy,
I was going to Mankato
quick.
Anyway. Ma is like sleepwalking because she hears Carrie crying all the way through the distance. She's getting on her robe. He wakes her up and reminds her they're in Mankato and says, she's like, what? And he says, we're on our second honeymoon. What? When did that get? I'm going to call that lion. Because this was a work trip that you were supposed to go on by yourself. You brought her with you, and now all of a sudden it's been upgraded to second honeymoon. Ma's reaction to finding out that they're on their second honeymoon in Mankato was to say, oh, I must have been having a nightmare. Did I wake you? He says no, which was truthful. His eyes were open before she woke up. And she just goes immediately back to sleep where he's left to stare at the ceiling like he was doing on his supposed now second honeymoon.
Yeah, you go, Chaz.
Go, Chaz.
You know, one of Ma's biggest complaints when she was trying to get out of this trip was, don't forget to gather the eggs. We pan back to the house. It's the middle of the night, and I gotta say, the camera work makes it look like it's something from a Friday the 13th movie or Halloween or something. They focused in on him through the window, then they came up and panned up into the girls' room, and then they're laying there, and it's pouring rain. Pouring rain.
They realize Mary's telling us that, you know, Mr. Edwards doesn't know how to read, which was very astute of her. And now they are racing outside into the storm because Laura says...
Oh my, we forgot to get the eggs.
We forgot to get the eggs. So her premonition while they were laying out under the stars was correct. She knew those eggs were going to go bad. Well, it turns out that the girls, when they promised Ma they would never light matches, they were Lyin. Because here we go. They came outside. They know they're not supposed to light the matches, but they told Ma they wouldn't do it. And here they are lighting matches after Mary reminds us that they're not supposed to do it. And it's an emergency, Laura says. And somehow that overrides Ma. They light the match. They don't wake up Mr. Edwards. They go outside, and now the hens are awake. There's no door to this hen house. It's a very strange situation. We had chickens.
Yes.
It's a very strange setup, and the chickens are awake, and they're trying to get the eggs out in the middle of the night because they're going to sell them to Mr. Mr. Olson, and now Mr. Edwards hears the chickens, and it wakes him up.
Edwards looks outside the window in the middle and sees the lantern and little figures and just yells out, "Chicken thieves!"
Chicken thieves, and he goes and loads a shotgun.
Only one way to handle them.
Yeah, he's about to come outside. Doesn't look for the kids at all. He thinks he's already assessed this correctly. The kids come in, and Ma's worst fears are realized as Mr. Edwards
just shot a hole in the roof.
A hole in the roof in the middle of a very big rainstorm, thunder and lightning. Mr. Edwards just called the girls out on their lions. Says, you know you're not supposed to light the lantern. You snuck outside. You forgot to do your chores. You didn't say anything about it. You're doing all this, and now we have a hole in the roof, and somehow it's the girls' fault about the hole in the roof, but I don't remember them loading the rifle, but that's where we're at. We had some dying. Unexpected dying. Ma is trying on that bonnet he promised that he said wasn't too expensive at $2.50, but he looked shocked when he heard the price. But he tells her, oh no, it's fine. And then this woman comes in looking for her children, says she doesn't know where they're going to be. And when she leaves, Ma says, oh, I hope she finds her children. And this shopkeeper says, just matter of fact, oh, she won't. So they're shocked and find out that these kids were killed while their mother was away by a lightning that burned the house to the ground and burned the children up with it. And now Ma has put down this bonnet she was trying on, and she is ready to go. His hands are in his pockets, Chaz, and he is just losing at every turn.
So I'm going to say, trifecta.
Trifecta.
That was just awesome. That was just awesome. We come into Mr. Edwards up on the roof trying to fix that hole that was put there the previous night. Next thing, Carrie?
Now somehow after days of being with Carrie, he has yet to figure out that she wanders off. He's looking everywhere.
Everywhere. He goes to the stream. He goes to the barn.
The loft where the girls sleep.
Next thing you know, he sits down on the bed and says, now's not the time to panic.
And he's trying to figure it out.
Next thing you know, she pops out from under the bed. Boo!
Boo! So now Carrie has had an incredible amount of lines in this. She's probably up to like 10 lines in this whole thing. She's going in and out between his legs, under the bed, and she's going, boo! And then she goes back under the bed, which must be very clean under there.
This is why I said, wow. So here comes Laura and Mary running down the hill. They look up and they see Mr. Edwards on the roof and Carrie's sitting there.
Carrie is sitting next to him on the roof.
They go running up. Mr. Edwards, Carrie shouldn't be up there.
That's not safe.
She's going to fall. Oh, no chance of that. I got her dress nailed to the roof.
Nailed to the roof. So maybe Ma, her gut was telling her something. You know, they try to discount it, but Ma's been kind of right here beforehand. We'll have to give her some credit.
Chaz, you're just batting 1,000 with this whole trip.
Wow. This trip has gone downhill over and over. Every time they show us, it started out poorly, and it just kept getting worse from there.
So here's Chaz. He's got Ma. They're going to see a play. And
she's complaining about the cost of it again. It's too dear.
Yep, don't worry about it. So he buys 2 tickets. They walk in, and this lady walks out of the way. And what's the name of the play?
Abandoned Daughters. And it's about a woman who had children, and she was out in the country, and she couldn't take it anymore, and she didn't want to give up her life to be in the country and be tied down like this. She needed to go to the city, and Ma is crying. She is crying. She's got the handkerchief out. She's dabbing her face. They're up in the balcony, and he takes his hat and says, let's go. They didn't even stay to the end of it. It was just going poorly. It was a miserable time.
So after they show Chaz and Ma heading back home, and Chaz is just lying his brains out
he
about
was
how, it was lying.
He's saying he wasn't
such a bad
disappointed. He
trip.
missed the kids. He didn't miss anything except time with Ma that he didn't get because he thought he was going to get it.
Bull cookies.
Right.
So then they get back to the Ingalls household, and Mr. Edwards is giving Carrie a piggyback ride.
Invites all the girls, so there's 3 of them, onto his back and throws his back out. I can't make dinner, and the girls offer to do all the stuff that he was doing.
Right.
You know.
So then they pan back to here's Laura walking into the mercantile with the eggs, and
she only has 9.
Only has 9
broke some the other night.
broke, and it just mark them down. And I'll be back tomorrow. And there's Nels. Well, if I didn't know any better, that looks like your ma coming up right now.
Right, because they came home early. So now she tells Mr. Olson to keep them there. Don't let them come home right away.
We're not ready.
Right, we're not ready. And she is running home. She forgot the basket, too. She's running home. So we have a double Lyin. Because when Charles is asked how the trip went, it was good. And now Nels is saying that he needs the flour sacks, which are under everything in the load that they just brought back from Mankato. And he needs them now because he's got somebody that needs them immediately.
Yep, because Chaz just said, nope, I want to drop Carolyn at home first. Well, I really need these now.
I need them right now, but Laura is now hiding so that she can try to sneak by without her parents seeing her so she can get home. This whole episode wrapped up with Lyin. Pretty much, if you want to know who was being truthful, Carrie, she didn't say anything, and the horses were standing there. Everyone else, the girls lied about missing their parents. They all ran around. The kids were running around trying to do up all those chores that they left undone because they were thinking that Ma and Pa were going to be home tomorrow. Charles lies about how the trip was. They lied to Ma saying that they didn't miss you. And then, my goodness, and Mr. Edwards was lying that he was feeling well while he was leaning on this thing because his back was thrown out.
Yep, so he's lied about that. So really, that kind of wrapped up that episode, and I'm a little bit surprised because for such a slow episode, we hit the trifecta.
We did. We were shocked with the lying in the middle, and we missed a crying. We were really surprised, but this episode had Dyin, Cryin, and Lyin. They pulled it out. They brought it all to us, and here we are. So
make sure you join us for the next episode, which is called School Mom.
School Mom.
And that concludes this episode of Two Lockies.
Two Lockies, the podcast.
And our series, Dyin,
Cryin,
and Lyin.
We released these in 3s, so if you enjoyed it, there's more. Go check it out.
Go check them out. We'll see you next time.
We're out.
See ya.
Two Lockies, the podcast.
Two Lockies, podcast.
Two Lockies, the podcast.